Hi guys, I'm quarantined in my house right now, so I thought I would finally make that video answering all your questions about decoden. So let's get started. Question number 1. Where do you get your molds? So I bought most of my molds years ago. They're pretty old. I should probably buy new molds, but I bought most of them on Etsy from this shop called Molds by Mia. I'm not sure if she's even around anymore. I looked for her a few months ago and I couldn't find her. But I know there's a lot of good mold shops on Etsy, so I would recommend starting there. Okay, number 2. How do you deco pacifiers? So I deco pacifiers the same way that I deco phone cases, and that's with crafting glue and a wax pencil and rhinestones. The crafting glue is extremely toxic, so I wear like this big respirator when I work with it, and it's really uncomfortable. That's why I don't really like to do them. They're really beautiful and they're my favorite cases to like use, but they're like really hard on your body because it takes hours to set the rhinestones and it's really toxic, and even though I'm using the respirator, I know that it doesn't like fully work. Okay. Let's see. Where do you buy your rhinestones? So I buy my rhinestones mostly from AliExpress. You can get them for really cheap on there. Just try to make sure that you read the reviews and make sure that they're good quality. Or if you need them sooner, because AliExpress takes a really long time to ship, you could order them on Etsy too. Okay. How do you get more sales? Let's see. So Instagram, make sure you post like lots on Instagram of your cases, advertise yourself. I think if you're using your own website, it can be a little bit harder to get sales than if you were using a platform such as Etsy. That's why I went back to Etsy now that I'm not doing custom cases anymore. I would recommend trying a platform like Etsy. You get a lot of traffic. Post really nice pictures, as nice as possible, of your cases, use hashtags, and that should help a little bit. That's pretty much all I do to try to get sales. Was your first case a disaster or was it perfect? It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't a disaster. I'm trying to think. So I had a phone case already, and I just went to the store and picked up some silicone and a piping bag, and I had like some little mini anime figurines that I just like plopped on the case, and I was so happy. Like it was so amazing. I was like showing it off to everyone, and it definitely kind of was a disaster actually, but I loved it anyways. So how do you figure out price points for everything? So I start with a base price of $30 or a little bit more, like $33 for larger phone cases. I can't go much lower than that because I spend a lot on supplies. I spend a lot of time working on orders, and especially if they're custom orders. And you also have to consider kind of the price points for other shops. There's a lot of shops out there right now, so you kind of want to stay within like a range, you know, but don't undersell yourself. It just kind of screws you over in the long run. So I definitely calculate in like if they want something that takes more time and takes more supplies, I'll definitely up the price. You know, people pay, when I was doing customs, oh, I have little birds and they go a little bit crazy, so sorry. Yeah, so if the more time and the more supplies you're putting into the case, the more you should charge. That's what I want to say. What's your zodiac sign? I am a Gemini, and my moon is, I actually don't know my moon sign. When I was born, my parents didn't like register me at the hospital, so I didn't have a birth certificate until I was like 9. And every time you need to know like your birth time to know your moon sign, and And I've asked like my mom, my dad, and like my aunt who was there when I was born, and they all said like 3 p.m. No, I swear it was like 7 a.m. Or like they all tell me like a completely different time. So anyways, my moon sign's either a Scorpio or a Libra. So I'm not sure. But yeah, my sun sign's a Gemini. What made you want to start decoden? So I was 19 when I started decoden, and I was already a cake decorator for a while, and I was and still am really into like cutesy things. And I think I first saw it at like Fanime, which is this anime convention. There's this certain seller, I think she still goes and sells at Fanime, that was selling like really cute like fairy K and decoden stuff. I don't remember her shop name. But that's the first time I ever saw it, and then I kind of saw it like popping up around Instagram, and one day I just was like, why don't I try to do this myself? I almost went and bought a case, and then I was like, from another shop, and I was like, I could just do this myself, because, you know, I decorate cakes. And so yeah, that's just how it all started. I ordered a bunch of supplies on the internet, and then I made that first case that I just talked about with like some figurines that I had. I think it wasn't an anime figurine, it was like a little My Little Pony figure that you would get in like those little surprise bags. I had a bunch of those. Okay. I've always wondered how hardened decoden feels like. Is it squishy or rock hard? It's like squishy, but it's not super squishy. Like it keeps its shape. It's like I can't think of the word, rubber. It's like rubber. Molds for clay cabochons. I don't know, because I only made a few clay pieces, and I'm pretty sure you could use molds, but I've never used molds for them. I've just kind of like hand shaped them. I'm sure there's other YouTubers out there who are better at clay cabochons. Was learning the actual craft hard, or did it come naturally? It was really hard. And you want to just like scream sometimes because it's really hard. Like, I can't tell you how many times I would put like my whole hand in a case when it was still wet, or just like put my fingers in it. I still am a cake decorator. I still put my fingers in things all the time on accident and have to fix them. So it was hard, and definitely didn't really come naturally, but more time you spend doing it, the better you're gonna get. And you're probably gonna be really frustrated at times. I'm planning to open my own shop as an artist. How do you get started on running a shop? Yeah, so you just want to have a good chunk of money to spend on supplies, have a game plan. That's what I did. I wrote everything down in notebooks, what I wanted to buy, what I wanted to make, how I was gonna kind of like theme my website. And it's not gonna be perfect at first. It might not even ever be perfect. I don't think my shop was like ever perfect. But yeah, you're gonna learn as you go. So where do you buy passies in bulk? AliExpress is where I buy my pacifiers in bulk. Everything about making the resin pieces. So I actually have a video about making resin pieces, but what I can say is the resin that I use Envirotex. I think it's Envirotex Light. I really like it. I don't use too many other glitters besides fine iridescent glitter and sometimes a slightly chunkier iridescent glitter. And I use glitter that I call confetti, and that'll be like the little star, heart, colorful shapes. And then you want molds as well. But yeah, you can go check out that other video that I made if you're interested in making the resin pieces. What made you want to start making decoden cases and start a business? I'm trying to think back because this was so long ago. I started my shop in 2015 and it's 2020, so I just thought it was really cute, I guess. I thought it was really cute, and I felt like doing something creative, and it was just, honestly, it was a whim. I just like did it on a whim. I spent like $200, which was like a lot of money for me back then. It still is a lot of money. And I just was so into it. Like, I was obsessed with it when I first got into it. And everyone around me like thought I was like weird and like didn't care. I think I had like one friend who thought it was cool, but everyone else was just like whatever. Like, I had this friend at the time, we're definitely not friends anymore, but he was like, that's just a waste of money. Like, why are you even doing that? Like, you're gonna fail. And basically just said that when I told him that I like bought all these supplies. And I think it's so funny now because it definitely wasn't a failure. Let's see. Sorry if I answer some of these twice. I'm losing track of what I answered already. I buy my molds on, I think, did I already answer that? I can't remember. I buy my molds through Etsy. I buy my rhinestones through AliExpress. Yeah, I did answer these. Okay. What is the most tedious part in creating decoden and phone cases? Definitely cleaning out your piping bags and piping tips and rhinestone cases. How long does it take a case to be fully ready? It could take like an hour or two. It really depends on how like complicated the case is. What's your favorite movie? Definitely Your Name is my favorite movie. I love it. It makes me cry. It's so good. If you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend watching it. Let's see. I only have a few more left. So, how do I start my own, and what supplies do I need to get started? Oh, I can't remember if I already answered these or not. I feel like a lot of these are repetitive. That's why I think that I answered them already. But yeah, you just want to get all the supplies that I've listed to get decoden. You can go watch my other video where I list off of the supplies. It takes a lot of supplies, so I'm trying to warn you, like, I don't want you to get over your head. You're gonna need a lot of little things. Does the whip peel from the phone case? Does it need to be set or sealed? No, the whip that I use doesn't peel from the phone case. When I first started, the whip kind of peeled from the phone case. I think it really depends on what type of silicone you use. I use the GE brand, and it stays really well. Where do you get your pearls and rhinestones? I think that one's a repeat too. I get them mostly from AliExpress. Etsy has some good ones too. And I think that is it. So yeah, I hope that I answered all your guys' questions, and if you have any more questions, comment below, and thank you for watching.